Hi, Paul Flavin from Small Business Alliance. Today we're on another episode of Business Drive, and with me, Danny Nevill from Universal Web Design. So Dan, we're standing here in front of your stunning Aston.
Thank you very much, great to be here.
Just to start off, on the business side, give us a little bit of background to what you've done business-wise. What has led you to owning Aston, standing with me in the middle of Colchester?
Sure, no problem at all. So I started in business at the age of 11, buying and selling sunglasses. That was my first gig. I had $50 holiday money from my parents. I was in the USA, and I saw an opportunity to see some sunglasses. So there was about $3 each. And I thought to myself, I could sell those back in the UK for £20 each. So I used that $50 to buy a bundle of sunglasses and sold them back in the UK. At 11 years of age, that led on to buying and selling various products, mostly sort of watches, jewellery, fashion jewellery and confectionery. And then sort of when I was 13, I built my first website, and sort of during that journey, people then started saying, oh, you can build websites, I'd love you to build one for us. And by 19, I had a business plan for Universal Web Design, and I've been executing that business plan for 11 years now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Thank you.
You know, I think what I was doing at 11, and it certainly weren't business-wise. I think it probably was, but probably not the right sort of business. So you say, you know, where was you selling it? I mean, at age 11, where did you start selling?
So the main port at that time, of that particular deal, I saw an opportunity to sell it to people at school. I was at Philip Moran High School in Colchester, and it has a population of around 1,500 students. I thought to myself, I'd have no issue in selling this bundle of sunglasses to peers, friends of friends, parents, friends, etc.
And where'd you go on that? When did it start going on to web sales?
So website sales I began when I was 19, and that was off the back of a business plan. So obviously we all read books, we listen to now podcasts and watch videos like this, but back at the time it was reading books and then mapping out a business plan. And I sort of went through that business plan with my dad, and he sort of gave me his thoughts and feedback and challenged me on my proof of concept, my ideas. And at that time, the business plan was to get to 360 hosted clients, because I like the idea of obviously a hosted client per day.
And was your family business orientated? Were they always in business, or is this something that's completely out of the blue?
No, my mum actually bought and sold products when she was younger. So she was traveling to the likes of Taiwan, China, India, etc. And my dad, by trade, is a carpenter, had his own workshop, and then he got into property development. So
you've had that entrepreneurial upbringing?
Yes, that definitely I think helps, because you've got people who are in business to obviously watch, learn from, and also the perspective of how they see things. Obviously people not in business won't have some of the insights I would have had at a younger age.
That's amazing. Starting at 11, that's really truly amazing.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So, by the age of 19, you had Universal Web Design clear in your head.
Yep.
You'd run it out, approval from family members.
Yes.
And wider afield, I would imagine.
Yeah.
What drove you to that step to actually launch?
So obviously I was gaining income from selling products, and I found selling products very easy for myself to do, because it's tangible, it's a physical form, it's a clear trade. I did actually find a bit of a challenge at the start to actually sell services, but I took the plunge to fully dedicate myself to Universal. I had a very clear vision and mission. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, and I knew it'd take several months to get going. But obviously that's a hard transition when you've had income from selling products for several years, to then say, right, I'm going to now park that in the hope of a better destiny with this. Even at a young age, it is still a sort of a painful financial experience to take that journey. And obviously a lot of people who start their own business have to take that jump at certain times. Yeah. So fortunately I was 19, whereas I think the average age for starting a business is about 40. Yeah. So at 19 you've got less overheads, less commitments, less pressures. So I was in a fortunate position from that perspective, but I then dedicated my time to creating a service-based business. And I did find a challenge with actually selling services over products, because you've not got any tangibility.
Yeah, there's no tangible.
I had no team, I had no portfolio, I had no proof of concept, I had nothing really behind me. I didn't have nice big offices like we've got now. So you're 19 years old, pitching to people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, sort of saying, come on, show me what you can do, what impress me, who have you got as a client? And I had nothing to show. And I couldn't even give them something when I sold to them then, because it's a service.
Yeah.
So what I learned earlier on was I turn all my services into products, which is why you see on our website packages.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm selling the service, but I'm making it tangible by making it clear what you're getting in that package.
Yeah, so from looking at what you're doing, you've packaged everything up. So you've got option 1, option 2, and it's something tangible rather than
exactly
something in the ether that you're trying to sell.
Yeah, it's not just theoretical.
Yeah.
You've actually got tangibility there, what you're buying, and everyone knows what you're getting as the trade.
But just going back, I know from previous conversations, as a youngster, you was on that path to a professional golfer.
Yes.
Anyone with that inkling of a professional sports career, that's a big step to take when you go, okay, I'm going to give that dream up to be practical and actually go for a business rather than that sporting life. What was the driver behind that? I mean, if someone said to you, you've got a fair chance to become a professional golfer, and at 19 you're going, I'm throwing all that away to a point, because I'm going to follow this career over here, web design, that must have been a real, not perhaps a bitter pill to swallow, but to think, I'm giving up on a dream to be a professional sportsman, to be a business owner?
Yeah, so obviously that was a very calculated decision, and I didn't pursue the dream of golf for a month or a week. It was a 2-year pursuit, and then revised myself from there. Obviously I was doing business before then, so I'd already had, despite it being unusual, sort of 7 years, 5 years experience in business. Really enjoyed that, gained ability in golf very quickly, got advised and guided, and I could see for myself the potential in pursuing that career. I saw golf as a business opportunity, sponsorship, earnings and revenues from golf, rather than being 3 years old. I've always wanted to be a golf professional, and I only wanted to be a tour player. So my pursuit was to be a touring professional rather than a club professional. So when I was 16, I met the criteria to become club pro at 16 from a handicap perspective. I couldn't turn professional from 18 due to PGA requirements of being 18 years of age. So I then got to that point and actually decided I much prefer business with people rather than golf, which is actually a very solo, lonely pursuit by yourself.
Yeah, it's a bold move, but it's paid off.
Yeah.
So, obviously Universal started when you was 19. Is that, how long's it been going now?
11 years.
11 years, so where are you now and where is the dream for Universal? So what's the finished article look like, if you can ever have a finished article, and where are you on that journey?
So so my original plan, my first big milestone was to get to 365 hosted clients or clients on a business. We've reached that goal, we've gone past that goal, and we're now nearly at 1,000.
Brilliant.
So our next milestone is to get to 2,500 clients, and really the milestone I really want to get to is 10,000 clients. So that'd make us one of the major big national players in this industry, and sort of mapping it out, we'd have sort of 100, 150 team members at that size. So that is the flag in the sand where I want to get this business to.
And how many you got now?
Nearly 1,000.
You got, no, team members, sorry.
Oh, team members, we have 20.
So you're a tenth of the way there?
Yeah.
And what's the speed of growth, do you reckon, now? Because you always reach that in business. I know I had it where it felt like I was hanging on to the tiger's tail waiting for it to go.
Yeah.
And it takes some pride in, but once it goes, it goes.
Yes.
So where are you on that journey? Because the curve sort of runs along, then goes, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we actually experienced that real fast growth between 2017 and 2020 pre-COVID. So it was gaining and growing really fast and expanding. And when a business has got motion to expand, provided you keep everything under control, it's actually, I found it quite straightforward, because you bring on new clients, you bring on new team members, and it sort of all just keeps growing. The only halt, and it was a harsh halt, was COVID-19. I know during recessions you can sometimes see them coming, often in 2008. I don't think many people saw that one coming. But when you don't see it coming at all, and I think COVID-19 being a global pandemic, that's one of the harshest handbrakes for a business I've ever experienced. And it was a very painful time.
Oh, it come out of the blue.
Yeah.
Those people that reacted really quickly, took everything online, brilliant, hats off to them. But some people just sat there thinking it was never going to happen. And
exactly.
So yeah, I can appreciate that, believe me.
Yeah.
So, started Universal when you was 19, it's been going 11 years now, which makes you 30.
Yep.
I used to be a mortgage advisor, so I should be good at numbers. Over that 11 years, what's been the biggest challenges you faced?
I would say the biggest business challenge, and I do believe a lot of businesses face the same challenge as ourselves, is I would say one of the biggest business challenges is people. Because you can systemise, process, organise, structure, vision, model, everything from a business perspective. And obviously as a director or business owner or entrepreneur, that's your responsibility. Get everything in order, everything structured, everything organised. The people element is not predictable. So people can turn up happy, unhappy, have a fallout with their partner, have a desire to move to Australia. There's loads of unpredictable elements. And that unpredictability is what every business fears, because that's the biggest change in it.
I'm laughing because so many of the people I work with, team is the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
On my own company, or one of the mortgages online, it was that having to deal with the team after COVID, just getting people back was the point I threw the towel in.
Yeah.
And it is always team.
Exactly. Yeah, because you've got two sides to people. You've got people who work in the team and you've got customers. A customer could have 100 things happen in their life. A team member could have 100 things happen in their life. But that's not something that really fits into your ideal business model because you want consistency.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I think a business is based upon is the consistency of that business. If you look at some of the major nationals we look at, we may or may not like what they sell or do, but they are very consistent. And people is the element that is the most inconsistent.
Yeah, we used to have a couple of signs on our wall. One was repeatable quality. If you can't deliver repeatable quality, then it's wasted.
Exactly.
You're wasting time. And the other one was if the customer has to ring for an update, you failed.
Yeah.
Because it was all about that, giving the client what they want. But I make you so right.
Yes.
That getting the staff, just their problems become your problems.
Yes.
So if they turn up in a bad mood because they've just had a row, you've got to try and sort it out in the best way possible. Otherwise, you've got that team member and anyone they talk to offside.
Yeah.
It's so hard getting the right team. So, what do you think the secret is to getting the right team together?
Obviously, similar to yourself, we are analysing businesses all the time and thinking, how do we perfect this model? What's the perfect model? And obviously, that being such a variable, you're trying to silo it into as few variables as possible to get as much control of that situation as you can. So I would actually say one of the things I've learned in my personal opinion experience is getting as many people of the same attributes and personality types as possible. I think I've probably lost some years where I've tried to get a variation of personality types, profiling, etc. You do all these different analysis and they say have a mixture. For me, that's actually caused me more problems having a mixture of preference than having just we all want one type of style.
Yeah, I think in your industry where you've got, and tell me if I'm wrong, we've got like the web designers, you've got the social media, you need very similar type people to do it.
Exactly.
I think if you're in a business where you've got a sales team and an accounts team and a promotions team, you need different characters for each, and that's when it really becomes hard. Because you've got to have in disc terms, you've got the high D person in sales, you've got the compliance officer that they're reporting to that's got massive issues with like every I being dotted and T being crossed, and trying to get them personalities to work together. So it is you get told to get a good balance of everyone, but it's so hard to do, and you're constantly fighting against.
I tend to find that if you have lots of different personality types, obviously you mentioned disc profiling, if you try and get all those quadrants, I tend to find you have lots of clashes within the team, and that was a challenge, whereas now we've pretty much just gone for all one style and it's a lot easier.
With the mortgage you had salespeople giving all their work to back office people. The back office people wanted everything spot on. The salespeople wanted to go and see another client. And it was just, you was fighting constantly, but it is always staff. Every business, and you're the same as me, we love systems and processes.
Exactly.
We love that repeatable quality, which you can do with everything other than the staff. You can't, and you say this profiling, working to the people so they're the same sort of character traits, is almost systemising the people, but it's so hard to do. So and that's probably the biggest challenge when you say, I'm going to end up with 150 staff. You've got to find 150 staff.
Exactly, I do agree.
What's been your lowest point? I mean, 11 years you've had amazing success, and I know you've got other, irons in the fire. What's been your lowest point, and how did you get through it?
I would say, as I said, I started Universal during a recession. So we was in the 2008 sort of recession sphere. And growing a business, being 19, not having offices, not having a portfolio, not having a team, was hard, very hard. But because I started at such a hard position, it just got easier and easier.
Yeah.
And then when you start getting the traction and the growth, it then just accelerates and more. So up until, as I'd say, sort of February, March 2020, it was I found it fairly straightforward, to be honest. Started hard, got easier and easier, and everything got better. And then, as I said, you had handbrake, everything stopped and not in the right way. So that was definitely the lowest point, where you've got just every type of problem you can think of all happening at once, and a lack of payment coming in, and it's just problem after problem. And as you know, cash flow is vital for a business. And that's probably the lowest point.
And what character traits do you think got you through that?
Resilience. I'd say that is probably my strongest character trait, whereby no matter what the situation or occasion or event, I want to find my way through it, over it, under it, around it, whatever it takes.
I think that's, with true entrepreneurs, and I'd class you as a true entrepreneur, I think that's the one trait they need. Is that dogged determination that no matter what hits you, because you get, I know, I think it's James Dyson's got something like 4,000 patents.
Right.
And he said only a handful he actually come up with himself. The rest are already out there, but the people gave up before they got to the end. So brilliant ideas, just didn't have the persistence to get there.
Yes.
So 100% agree, you've got to have persistence if you want to get anywhere as an entrepreneur.
100%.
Drive to get Universal to 10,000 clients, 150 staff, what do you think is going to be the key to getting that achievement?
The most important part, if you're going to expand and get to that size, obviously we've been bigger than we are now, so we know where we need to get to and how to get there for the next step anyway. At the moment, we've never been to 100 or 150. However, it is structure and organisation. If you're not organised and if you're not structured, you just create a bigger mess. Whereas if you're structured and you're organised, everything's filed correctly, everything's in the right place, in the right position, at least you're giving yourself the best chance to succeed and grow.
I always found business is almost formulaic. If you follow the right formula and just keep going. And it's business, like life, is just a series of problem solving. And the ones that solve them problems the best are the ones that achieve the goals.
Correct.
So it's just problem solving, and it's that following the formula. And if you got the formula, why would you change it?
Exactly.
So
Totally agree.
Totally agree. So I'm sure a lot of business owners agree with me. Owning and running a business is a real lonely place. I mean, I used to have some brilliant ideas in the shower, step out of the shower, the phone would ring, or an email would ping through, completely gone. Or you'll be chasing what you think is a brilliant idea, and there's no one to tell you that's a rubbish idea. Who do you turn to for advice or to bounce ideas off when you're thinking of growing, or whatever stage you're at in business? Who do you turn to? Who's that one sounding board that you've got?
So I actually have a few, whereby obviously we both network, and one of the sister companies I'm involved in is Nexus Networking, and the members there, we do sort of bounce ideas and sort of suggestions from each other. That's helpful. You've got my parents, that helps, the fact they have got business knowledge and experience, you can share ideas with them. My accountant, I've got a close relationship with Lee Taylor Projects Accounting, and then obviously someone such as yourself, Paul, is a business consultant, someone who really understands business at all levels, and you can have confidential, open conversations with. As we've sort of agreed, is every business should have a consultant, an advisor, a coach, as any professional athlete would.
Exactly. So. And it is that having a sounding board, but also sort of being able to pick someone's brain. And it's funny. I had a client who said that, his wife asked him why he was still working with me, and he said, even though the sopranos are in the mafia, they've all got a shrink.
Yeah.
And as he said, having someone that you've got as a sounding board, you've got that one person that hasn't got an extra grind.
Yes.
If you go home to your family and tell them your problems, they worry about you.
Yeah.
You tell your employees, they worry about their jobs.
Yeah.
You've got no neutral person to turn to, and you do need that. It's so important because business is hard.
It is. Yeah.
And if you haven't got anyone you can bounce off and empty your head and sort of de-stress.
Yes. No, it is hard to find the right people, but obviously, as I say, working with someone such as yourself, you've got that confidentiality, you've got that ongoing understanding, and you're only there to help them.
Yeah.
So you're only there to help us grow. So.
He said, I always found I had two myself, and it is vital just to keep talking.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it's just to de-steam.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, turning up every day for work,
Yeah.
actually driving the business forward, it's so easy to drop into that routine where you just turn up and basically become an employee.
Yeah.
How do you hold yourself accountable every day and make sure it's always going forward, you're always driving that business in the right direction?
So the most important part, in my opinion, is goal setting.
Yeah.
If you don't have goals, you've got no vision and mission. And if you don't share those goals, then you don't have accountability. You need someone who you're going to have personal goals with, business goals, and those should really align. Because if you want to achieve something personally, your business needs to support that personal vision and mission. And if you don't have both of those, then you're kind of you've not got a clear plan of action and aim of why are you turning up every day, why are you dealing with all these problems, why are you trying to grow this business.
So what do you do in the way of goal setting? Are you sort of 5 year, 3 year, 1 year?
I tend to do 5 years. 5 years is my sort of mapped out goal of where I'm trying to get to. And when I was 19, I set out that for when I was 25. And I achieved a lot of those goals. Some of them I achieved more than once. And people who have seen those goals and know what I achieved by 25 were just amazed. Because they're like, how did you know you was going to achieve that? Well, achieve that. I didn't know, but I just knew that was what I wanted to achieve.
I mean, so many businesses don't have goals, they're turning up, doing a day's work, going home and wondering why they're getting nowhere. So you've got your 5 year goal, you've set that out. How do you pull that back? Do you break it down to 90-day and weekly targets, or how sort of minute do you take the goals?
Yeah, so I'm very good on Excel and spreadsheets, and essentially you can do what your goal is and then do multiples. So you could literally do formulas of division, multiplication by obviously 5 year, 3 year, 2 year, daily, whatever it needs to look at. So typically from a commercial perspective, because the business funds obviously the personal, is if we sign up a customer a day, that's basically our business commercial goal.
Right. The other thing I find as well is business is there to support your personal life, and I know you've just had a baby, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
But business is there to support your personal life. So so it's business personal. The business is running like that, but so many people let the personal flow into business, so they lose their personal life and put everything in their business. How do you hold that to account so you stay focused and you know that your family comes first?
So with your business, that is, so in golf I actually got sports psychology. So when you did that, you actually learnt about being able to step over a line. If you watch Tiger Woods when he practices, he steps over a line, he goes into golf mode, comes off over the other side of the line, he's now back in his own mode. Having that ability to switch from business to personal is a really important skill to have, and I'd probably advise people to either practice that or think about it, or probably see a psychologist in how to mentally create that state of mind of you're in a business mode, you're in personal. You shouldn't bring your personal life to business at all, and you shouldn't bring your business into personal too much.
I think the trouble there, certainly with where we are at the moment in the world, the trouble's been because people are working from home, there's no cut-off. So, there'll be, if something's on telly that one of the partners don't want to watch, they'll go and work on their emails, or they'll go and work. There's that. How do you do that? Are you guilty of that, of working at home? Are you completely cut off?
No, I typically don't work at home. I'd probably say very rarely I work from home. I'd rather go actually back to the office.
So you're not tempted to check emails or anything while you're sitting there?
Definitely not.
That's good control.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
So, proudest moment, what is it?
I would probably say winning Young Entrepreneur of the Year in Essex. That was a proud moment. I was sitting on the table with the owner of Beresford's, going up there, collecting the award, having the sort of the appreciation and recognition of winning that award was a real testament. Similarly, winning the Culture Youth Awards for entrepreneurship.
So tell me about that, because I mean, obviously the Essex one I know, but what's the culture?
So that one was at the Arts Centre in terms of the actual presentation, but it was a collective awards ceremony in Colchester for various talents and abilities and sort of successes, if you like. And my one was for Young Entrepreneur of the Year.
Well done, congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, this one seems a ridiculous question for someone who's only 30, but if you could give your younger self some advice, what would it be?
Two things. One of them, I would have built the sales team around the business sooner. I actually went production heavy, and then the production team got more and more reliant upon my sales ability and time. So I would have actually probably driven and grown the sales team first, because when you've got sales coming in, as I've said before, it's a bit like having a shop. Imagine if you had a shop or a restaurant or something, you've got people queuing up outside. From a business perspective, you've got to be doing something fundamentally wrong to fail as a business. So if you've got that engine, you can then build the rest under quite easy control from that point. So that's one of the parts I would certainly recommend. And the other one is try and create as much residual income as you can within the business as quickly as you can. One-time transactions are great to an extent, but they are one-time. Whereas a residual-based business is a lot more valuable, a lot more sustainable, and a lot less pressure.
It also increases the value of the business.
Correct. Well, you know all about that.
Yeah. I remember the one bit of advice my dad told me was like, true wealth is how long you can survive without working.
Yes.
And that's got to be passive or got to be residual. You cannot go for one-time shots. And also, going back to your first point, I know a lot of companies that are still out there and still doing well because they're great at sales and marketing. I concentrate so much on customer service, but you can only give customer service once you've got a customer. So,
exactly.
You know, you can be a brilliant customer service provider and fail. But if you can generate leads and sales, you won't fail.
Well, we see it around the business sphere all the time, the business marketplace and network, is they provide great products, great services. That's why they've gone to start their own business, because they're really good at what they do. But people don't know what they do. They're not out there, they're not in the media, they're not in PR, they're not doing videos like this. They need to get themselves out there, get the message out, so people know what they do and how they can help them.
Yeah, I know if I was being asked that question, similar sort of answer, be better at sales and marketing. Certainly marketing that feeds into sales, but be better at that, because if you're generating leads, you can cope with everything.
Exactly.
But definitely 100% agree on that.
Good.
Right, this question might get a slightly different response if I'd asked it 2 months ago to now, because now you're a father, but what's on the horizon for you now?
So commercially, in terms of my horizon, is to keep growing Universal. As I said, we want to get to 10,000 clients on our books, and then have around 100 to 150 team members looking after servicing and keeping those customers happy. In terms of other businesses I'm involved in, I'm more looking to get involved in businesses as a partner and a co-shareholder, rather than starting loads of my own ventures as a single solo director, solo shareholder. Not that it's not great, it's just every single element becomes your responsibility, your liability. If you're on holiday, it's still you're the only director in the business. Whereas if you had multiple, you can share the workload, and I've experienced a lot of benefits around that.
I mean, I've just read a book, Who Not How. Which is basically, stop trying to do it all yourself. Just pair up. And when we won European Business of the Year, it was Sir Terry Jones that gave us the award, who was the first Welsh billionaire. And a lot of his companies was telecoms based, and what he would do was partner with people. He'd get young guys out of university, give them the shares of the company, and let them drive it forward, because they're going to leave.
That's it.
So it's so crucial, and the amount of times, and it was only reading this book recently that made me think, I've got to stop trying to do everything myself and be able this building bridges and building everything myself. I've got to start pairing up and partnering, so 100% agree with that.
Well, if you look at businesses, as we both know, most of the biggest businesses do have more than one shareholder, more than one director, and that gives a company a much more rigid structure. And it also enables you to get to that big, large size. And like you said, if people have got shares and or titles of such level within the company, they're going to have a much more vested interest, desire to grow the business with you, than you've had experience before.
Also, as well, you know, business in its most basic form is marketing, sales, operations, finance.
Yeah.
You can't be an expert in every one
Exactly.
of those. You know, I hate numbers. I've got no interest in the accounts. Operations, I love to build systems and processes. Marketing, I sort of understand, but I don't really like the sales side. So why would I think I can build a complete 100% whole company if I'm not good at everything?
Well, you can't be in every position at one time, can you? Yeah.
And if it's all on my shoulders, it'll fail because of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I 100% agree. You've got to start partnering, and that's what my big learning is. Start partnering with other people to start building things.
Definitely.
Definitely.